Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another one of these online lectures for Theater 3, Introduction to Theater. My name is Win. Of course, you guys know who I am, whatever. How are you guys doing? You doing all right for the duration of this quarantine? How's everything going? You can't really respond to me, but I'd love to hear from you. I know I keep saying this and you guys don't really respond in the discussion format in Canvas, but I'd love to hear from you. Just pop by and say hi and start a discussion about anything that we talk about here in this lecture. If you guys just want to pop in and say hi. You can also email me if you have like a personal question or if there's a question that you don't want to ask in front of everybody. Please feel free to email me anytime. I'm trying to make myself available during class time every day to answer emails and to be there ready to chat on Canvas. So don't forget about that. I'll try to be a little shorter today, noticing that my lectures are going around like 40 minutes, and I know that's a long online lecture for you guys to sit through. So I'll try to shorten it a little bit today and speak a little faster, just a little bit more concise. So today we're talking about the costume designer. Once again, we're going right into our hypothetical theater landscape where we're starting to think about what happens before we actually put on a show. And this is chapter 10 in your book, in your RCC version of the theater experience. So please follow along in your book if you guys would like to. But today we're talking about the costume designer. And the first thing that I wanted to point out is just this first slide right here. This is Julie Taymor's The Lion King, which ran on Broadway for a really long, in fact, it's still running on Broadway. It's toured several times. It's going on, like, I want to say almost 15 years now, which is crazy to think about. But yes, it's an incredible show, and a lot of it is to do with the design elements that Julie Taymor has so cleverly put in frame here. So let's check out, this is Scar. You might notice some of the Disney hints because it is a Disney show. It is based off of Disney's The Lion King. And so you'll see a lot of those cartoon elements and these puppets that Julie made. There's a lot of texture here, a lot of anger. It seems like there's some rage going on, and in these really sharp textures, really dangerous character. Scar, we obviously, if you guys have seen The Lion King, know that this is the villain, and so we try to make the texture and these earthy tones look kind of dangerous and scary. So if you guys have anything to point out about these costumes, please share them in the discussion. We're just going to move right ahead, though. See if this works. Okay. We're going to try something a little bit different today. I know the last time I did my presentations, I showed you guys the actual video. I just played it during my presentation here. That didn't turn out too well for me in terms of sound and sound quality. So today I would like to just go back to what we did on our first online lecture and have you guys just select this link right here. And if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this not on a PowerPoint presentation, not the PowerPoint that I upload to Canvas, if you're watching it on that YouTube link, all you have to do is find the link in the description. So I'll give you guys a second to watch this video, and I'll just take a break here and I'll wait for you guys to get back, okay? See you soon. Welcome back. Wasn't that awesome? I know you guys are like, we've seen Jurassic Park a million times. What are we looking for here, and what's the point? Well, the point is that we can share character with just costumes. And this scene is special because it's the first time we're meeting most of these people. Dr. Ian Malcolm and the lawyer, Mr. Gennaro, we're meeting some of these people for the first time, Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler, and we're meeting all of these characters and their personalities. And the first thing that just kind of jumps out towards us is, what do they wear? And what is their occupation? What is their wealth status? How rich or how wealthy can we tell Mr. Hammond, like by his clothes, by the things that he wears? What does it say about him? So let's talk about it. Let's just go one thing at a time. Let's just go one person at a time here. This is Mr. Hammond. He owns the park, obviously, in Jurassic Park. And so, I mean, it's just kind of basic knowledge that he is going to have a lot of money, but like who dresses like God? I mean, he dresses all in white. What is the environment that he lives in? Who dresses like this? What kind of old grandpa character dresses in white pants and a white shirt with a nice gold watch and whatever his cane, that little ember or the little dinosaur fossil that he has kept in his cane. Do we get a sense of his personal interests by just looking at his clothes? I know it's not really fair to think about these kind of things in real life, about how to judge a book by its cover, but in theater, it's kind of the first thing that we notice. It's the first thing that we see. Who dresses all in white is what I'd like to say. Doctors Sattler and Grant, these two characters we're establishing as protagonists. Earlier on in the film, we meet them. They're a comforting presence in this environment, mainly because of what they're wearing. We don't wear these kind of clothes today, and this is a 90s film, so the style is very 90s as well, so we see that. But what is the main piece of information that we're getting from their clothing? And I would like to denote that it is that they are equipped to live in this environment. They are outdoors people. They are paleontologists, so they spent their time outdoors, and they're wilderness goers. They know how to survive. And just because of how they look, the scarf, the way she ties her shirt, it just looks confident. It just looks like, to us, the psychological audience, we're just saying, okay, we trust this person. This person knows what's going on, and they're going to be safe. They are equipped to deal with this situation. And they dress alike, which shares relationships. It gives them a relationship center. So what can costumes tell us about these characters? Well, I'm just going to go one by one and talk about each of these things. We can learn the position and status of these characters just by what they wear. We know Mr. Hammond, John Hammond's clothes looks expensive. Like that shirt, pants, watch combination looks very expensive. And so at any time we could just go and say, he probably has a lot of money just by what he wears. We're looking at Laura Bell Bundy here, who is Elle Woods in Legally Blonde. We can tell by this little bangle on her wrist. We can tell by her necklace, the way that she dresses her dog, like who dresses a dog. We can tell that she has some money, that she is wealthy and her status is high in society. Sex or general gender, we're going to talk about that in a second too, but we can tell the sex or gender or even sexual preference of a person, of an individual, by what they wear. And it's not fair to do this in real life, but on stage and in film and television, sometimes as a way of speaking clever exposition, we have to judge these characters by what they wear. And sometimes that will denote that a character is gay. And we'll talk about that a little bit here on the next slide. We can tell their occupation, what they do for a living. Elle Woods, I mean, she looks like a college student here, which she is. So we can tell that she probably goes to college. She's a college student. She's young, maybe unemployed, or like an employee that we have no idea. And then later on, when she becomes a lawyer, she changes her dress to reflect that occupation, that she is now a lawyer. A relative flamboyance or modesty. Flamboyance refers to the general pizzazz that a character has, or the flashiness that a character dresses in. A modest character would be someone who wears a suit and a tie, or someone who would wear something really plain, not stand out, someone who wants to blend in with the crowd. And a flamboyant person wants to stand out. Think like the Joker from Batman. Okay, the Joker is like the most flamboyant character we can think about. Okay, degree of independence or regimentation, that just refers to the degree of how much this character belongs to a sorority or a fraternity of some kind. So this character, Elle Woods, belongs to women. Like there's a degree of regimentation there. She belongs to blondes. That's a bit of regimentation. She is a college student, and then later on she becomes a lawyer, and there is a regiment there. If she were totally independent, someone like Batman, I know I bring up Batman all the time, guys, but it's just it's something that we all share. But Batman is independent. There's nobody else like him. Nobody else dresses like Batman. That is the most independent character that you could think of. So on and so forth. You could think about some certain characters who want to stick out and some who would like to belong to their crowd, their people. Is she dressed for leisure or a special occasion? And that's just totally up to how fancy, or is it her birthday today? Is this what she wears every day? Is this just a leisure outfit? Is it a special? Is this like what they wear to church? Is this what they wear to go to work? I guess that kind of turns into occupation at that point. But yeah, is it a special occasion? Is it Halloween? If it's Halloween, then characters are going to dress completely different than how they normally do, right? Good. So once again, here's another clip that I want you guys to go watch. Go ahead, click the link in the description of Big Little Lies, or if you guys are watching this on PowerPoint, click this link right here. Just, yeah, grab the Big Little Lies letters, and I'll see you right after you watch it right here, okay? See you later. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that clip. I know a lot of these out of context are kind of like, what am I watching? What am I doing? I just wanted to remind you once again that we're focusing on costumes and not on acting or directing or playwriting or any of that stuff. We're purely looking at these clothes that they put on. And I like to use TV and film examples because you guys share it, right? You're definitely not watching any theater currently because you are quarantined in your homes. So it's just a fun way of us to connect. So here's a screenshot that I took from the video from this little clip that you guys saw. And the first thing that kind of just jumps out to me is that these guys are wealthy. So position and status, right? That first element of what costumes can tell about characters. I mean, look at Reese Witherspoon's dress there. It looks custom made. It looks like perfectly fit and clean and pristine, and all of the things that she has, like that little bangle and jewelry is just blinged out, and she is just gorgeous and immaculate here. While this character may be of a similar status and position, definitely is a step lower than these two women. These two women, look at how expensive their clothes are, and she's just a little bit muted. Here you see it especially, right? Like she's even embarrassed to be in this situation. You can tell the actress trying to fit in with these higher status characters, these higher positions characters, talking to each other, while she obviously feels like she's a little left out of the situation. Sex, gender, and orientation. I know it's not fair, but this is how the minds work. This is how our minds work in theater. And I would say never do this in public, never do this in your daily life. But is this revealing to characters in the story? Is this relevant to the storytelling? Is this important for us to know during this clip for this show? Is this something that we should know? And the answer is yes. Why is it important that we know that these two characters are gay? And I mean, we're just taking from total face value this really immaculate scarf, this curled, those curled sleeves, this beautiful sweater that they're wearing, nice and trimmed properly. Plus, they're just together. We kind of just put one foot in front of the other, and we understand what's going on here. So these two characters are obviously gay. Why is it important to the storyline? It shares that this school and this environment is an accepting environment that is a little bit more elitist and a little bit more liberal than other schools that we may be used to in other television shows. So that's important to know, that they're the liberal elite, that this is a liberal elite school, and that comes into play later. And this exposition is important for us to get in these costumes. How accepting and educated is this environment? It's very important. So occupation, going back to our Jurassic Park clip, this poor Mr. Gennaro, the lawyer, we can see his occupation in his clothes. And I know this is a weird scene for me to clip, but it's just so important for me to grasp. You see that he's a lawyer, and we get his occupation. How equipped is he for this environment? He is going to die for sure. Then he actually gets eaten by a dinosaur right in this frame. And you can kind of tell that he has no idea what he's doing. He's out of his element. He's wearing these suits pants, shorts thing that are just ghastly and horrible. And yeah, he's in trouble. So we can tell that this environment, the jungle filled with dinosaurs, is not his forte. This is not where he's supposed to be. And we know he's going to struggle in this environment. And he does. He's like the first guy that. So now let's talk a little bit about flamboyance and modesty. This character right here, Dr. Ian Malcolm, really excellent character. Rock star, look at these sunglasses. Do we get a sense of his career right here? Maybe not. I mean, he's a mathematician. He's a chaostician here. But that's kind of like a groovy career, at least in his mind. That's kind of how he sees it. So he dresses like this rock star with this leather jacket and this chain that's like hanging down, and his shirt is buttoned way too low, and his hair is just kind of frizzed out and ready to go. Just as accessories. This is an example of a flamboyant character. While someone like Ian Malcolm, or not Ian, this is Ian Malcolm, someone like Dr. Grant is a little bit more modest. Is a little bit more modest of character. So obviously our minds can make connections. We kind of put people in boxes, and that's not done by accident. Sometimes we will dress on purpose to associate ourselves with a certain group of people. So Dr. Grant definitely should remind you of Indiana Jones, especially in this shot. Like these are two like-minded characters, characters that care about history and about preserving the order of the things that they find under the ground. I don't know, like the archaeology and the paleontology, those things kind of like go together, and they dress alike. These fedoras, these hats definitely speak to the same vein, and they do belong in the same universe. It's like they're from the same fraternity, right? So they are a regimentation of archaeologists or explorer or something like that. They belong to that. While someone like Ian Malcolm may be a little bit more independent, to be someone who could stand out a little bit more. Is it a leisure or a special occasion? Is it leisure or special occasion? However you say, leisure, leisure, I don't care. Obviously, this character Reese Witherspoon portrays really wants to impress people, while Zoe Kravitz's character is saying, I'm not changing for anyone. This is what I wear every day, and this is my special occasion for me. And it's still a higher status and position. She has a lot of, this looks like expensive clothes, actually, but it looks like this is more, she's dressed for leisure, and this looks like she's dressed up for a special occasion, right? While it's all in the same scene. It's just two different characters, two different mindsets. So let's talk a little bit about makeup here, characters' costumes and makeup. I would ask you guys, what do you think about this makeup? What does it say? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the discussion forum about what kind of things you can glean from their makeup. Just their makeup. Don't even pay attention to their costumes, even though they're really ragged and stuff like that. How can we tell what kind of people and what kind of environment they live in just by their makeup? I'd love to hear about that in the discussions. So please join us. What kind of information do you get from these characters' costumes? And I'd love to know in the description, in your discussions, about what kind of conversations you guys want to have about this. This speaks style. You remember when we talked about style in set design? What kind of style of theater, what kind of style of theater we get when a director says a certain thing, what kind of directorial concept are we looking at here? The costumes help determine that story. So look, we can determine that this is a comedic story. This is not going to be serious. This is not going to be brooding. This is all going to be very fun and lighthearted and interesting. Yeah, just right here, this silhouette right here, this is comedy gold right there. Yeah, good. This is from Peter and Starcatcher, which we were supposed to do this semester at Riverside City College. It has been postponed, and I hope that we get back to it, and I hope you guys come to see it, because it will be amazing when it does come back. So this is William Shakespeare's The Tempest. Different costumes, the same character named Ariel. A gender fluid character can be played by both a man and a woman. And I just gave you a few examples. Once again, love to hear your guys' discussions about which one which one is the most interesting, which one has some danger in it, which character is a little bit more soft, which characters are ones that are a little higher position and status wise, or some characters that are more flamboyant than, they're all flamboyant, but which one's the most flamboyant, I guess, is a good one for us to have a great discussion. So yeah, really interesting things happening all over here. This one really looks fascinating and complicated to make, as far as making this costume. And we're going to come to a term about how to make a costume here in a second, but to create something like this is very difficult. Yeah. And the rest of them are just like, this one's a little bit more complex makeup wise. This one has some puppetry elements with it, with some strings on the hands. This one seems very wild and vibrant, and there's a lot of energy behind it. And this one's on stilts. All of them complicated, and all of them have a degree of safety. Yeah, there's a degree of safety that needs to be hearkened to here. So if you're the costume designer in any one of these productions, you have to make sure that your actors are safe and that these costumes are safe to perform in. So what are the objectives of the costume designers? What are our objectives? The first one is to establish a style and tone, just like the set design lecture that we talked about earlier last week. Yes, we do need to establish a style and tone here. That is our job as a costume designer. We need to show some relationships among these characters. Remember, like Dr. Sattler and Dr. Grant, and how they live together, and how those two characters are one. They have a relationship. Whether or not it's romantic is irrelevant. They are one. It does need to meet the needs of the performers right here. So that's the degree of safety that I said in the last clip that we talked about, in the aerial clip. The aerial slide. I mean, the one when I talked about how dangerous some of those costumes can be. We do need to think about the safety of performers. If a performer is going to be performing a backflip, they can't have a long flowing robe or a cape or something like that. Or if they do, that cape needs to be of a really light material. Yeah, so we need to take care of those performers. We need to indicate a historical time period if there is one, and if it's important to the show. Most of the time, I would say that yes, it's very important. I'd say about 90% of the time, costume designers are worrying about whether or not it's time appropriate. Whether it's in 1850 or 1970 or whatever, the time frame and the locale is very important to get right. We need to symbolically convey the significance of individual characters or the theme of the play. So we need to reinforce themes that the director has emphasized is important, and we need to use that through symbols like jewelry or glasses, like to say that a character can't see very well, they'll have big thick glasses on or something like that. So those are some symbols that we can use to help convey some character in the play. And being consistent and cohesive with other production and design elements, making sure that we're working together with the set designer, with the sound designer, the lighting designer, and the director, and all the actors to make sure that everything is just going smoothly, right? I know that was a lot. But here's some terms. Here's another clip. I'd love it if you guys would just go and check this out. Excellent way to describe character with colors and textures, and yeah, and time period, especially time period and locale. This is in Europe. And, I can't remember the time period now. You're going to tell 1910, I think 19 something like 1917, something like that. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for that. But you guys should definitely go and check out this clip. It's great. It's from She Loves Me, which was on Broadway. You might recognize some of these actors that are in it. Excellent play, an excellent musical. They did a great job. So here are some terms that your book highlights that you need to know. I'm just going to define them for you. A stitcher is the equivalent to a carpenter in set design, and the carpenters build the sets. The stitchers build the costume, which brings us to this next term, skipping polling and going straight to build. So if a stitcher builds a costume, that means that you make a costume from scratch. So this dress that she's wearing, let's say that we had to make that specifically for her form and style and cut. We would build that costume. But let's say these two gentlemen are a regular size and build. We decide to pull a costume, which just means we're taking their costume from storage. Taking the costume from storage, making from scratch. Okay? Makeup is important, obviously, for different reasons. You can use makeup to convey character with old age. So there are a couple different ways to convey character with makeup. Old age, there's character makeup, which just means you can put on some kind of prosthesis, which is like a big nose or like goblin ears or fangs or something like that, using prosthetics in terms of sharing character. Or you can just use makeup in corrective ways. Corrective makeup is just what she has on right here. It's what the two of them are wearing. If you don't think these two men are wearing makeup, you're kidding yourselves. They're definitely wearing makeup, and it looks great under the light. It looks like they're both their features, all three of their features are being highlighted here. Yep. So distressing is a fun term that your book highlights. Distressing is when we take a costume, like if we took this costume right here and we were to shred it up with a cheese grater or something like that, and then we put it right back on him, it would make it look worn and weathered. So distressing is making a costume look worn or weathered, just making it look like it's been through hell. Yeah, good. And that's it. We're all done with our lecture here. Onto our homework for this week. I want you guys to think of a family, friend, or a friend or family member, or just anyone. I don't know. Think of someone on TV or a celebrity or whatever. What's their personality like? If you had to create a costume on stage to fit them and their personality, what would it look like? And I want you to get really creative here. I don't want you to just put them in jeans and t-shirt. I want you to change them. I want you to heighten their style for the stage. How would it change if they were in a drama or comedy? Pick that particular style. Are they in a different time period? How does that change their style? I want you to pick that. Is it realism or non-realism? How does this change your design? And then I want you guys to sketch on either a program on your computer or like by hand, and then just take a picture with your phone and then upload it to Canvas, just like the set design assignment, okay? And I want to see the picture. Sorry, I was just looking at my miss thing right here. Then sketch your idea and bring it to class. Don't bring it to class. Don't, please practice safe distancing and stay home. Don't go to parties or anything like that. Just stay home. So sketch your idea, post it to Canvas with the picture, with the original picture of your person. So get their permission and just be like, hey, hold still for a second, and then take their picture and then upload your sketch, your rendering, if you guys remember that term, the rendering. Here's one of my favorite renderings from a past student of mine. This is so excellent. This was in a restoration time period, and she really got the time period correct. Excellent shoes, and then she showed me the original picture of her person, and it just looked amazing, the differences between the two. And she thought her friend was really stuck up, and so she put her in this restoration time period. Another friend saw her best friend as a superhero, so she sketched her as a superhero. Awesome. I really love, like, you can just tell the lines here, you can tell texture and all of the strength and power that comes with this sketch of a superhero. Here's another one who saw their friend as a pirate, and so they created all these elements. This was done on the computer. This was done on a program, and I'm all for that. If you guys want to render on a digital rendering, if you want to do a digital rendering, please feel free. I'd love to see them. So good luck. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed this upload, this lecture. I'll get back to you guys about the next test, and it should be uploaded this next week. So please watch out for the test. I'll give you guys details for that in the future, in the very near future, okay? Happy studying. Talk to you later.